You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. It's plain and simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn, your pawn, your pawn. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay with
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. It is Friday Junior, folks. The weekend is basically here. I hope everyone's doing all right. Winnie Rose, welcome. Heat, how's it going? Justin Johnson, Michael Hassler, welcome. Firefly, welcome. Y'all know that I know two of you aren't in chat, and one of you didn't like. That's right, gotta keep chat. I gotta keep chat honest. Had to take my nose piercing because it kept running. Well, I hope you caught it. Wait, didn't you say you were gonna wash your beanie? Yeah, eventually. I'll get to my beanie. Thank you. Good to be here. Appreciate that. Ladybug, welcome. Did you steal that background from Pac-Man? No, I stole it from the Majority Report. All right, folks. Today, it's going to be the same thing as yesterday. We're going to be on a bit of a time crunch. So best get started, folks. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys joining the stream. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. Keep doing what you're doing. Like the stream. Hit the subscribe button. Share. If you're on Twitch, follow. Spread the word. We're here Monday through Thursday, usually. About 5 p.m. Eastern. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the Substack merch tip and join the Discord. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Let's get started. We kind of got to speed run through as many of this as possible. Let's do it. Gotta go fast. Gotta go faster, faster. Poggers
is attempting to vote on the House is attempting to vote on the reconciliation package today. Now, it will also have to ultimately go to the Senate and then bounce back and forth.
Incidentally, at the time of this, by the time this video was released, it seems like they have passed it. So we'll, I guess, go over that afterwards.
There's a time crunch because the politicians don't want to work over the summer. Sometime between July and October, we are going to have a debt ceiling crisis, and they want to avoid that as well. On top of which, the Senate just passed a separate no tax on tips bill. Now, this is actually a legitimate bill.
The selected, not elected.
Bill in that it literally focuses on tips for people making under $167,000. Now, it seems a little bit on the high side in terms of like how much you're making on cash tips. But it is exclusively cash tips. I suspect there's a lot of opportunity for abuse for some.
Yeah, I mean, like, hey, I get paid in tips now. Right?
Something like this, and we'll see. But it's going to make the job a little bit easier for the Republicans in the House because they are not going to have to necessarily include it in the reconciliation package. There are a couple of rules on reconciliation, and that involve anything in that bill, because it only requires 50% plus one in the Senate, must deal directly with the
Interesting. I was immediately thinking, good, let service workers have their dang tips. I mean, like, yeah, but like the solution, I guess, would be to raise the minimum wage and like to make sure that like everyone, including service workers, gets the minimum wage. But like that's a whole separate issue, right? Like that's a whole separate like issue. I mean, like it sounds great because like you want people who are under a tipped job, which is already BS as it is, to have more of their money. But like, yeah. But management will abuse it. Yeep.
Political spending.
I thought it was just me. I think this video is just kind of weird. Kirkenstein's Monster, welcome. Donald James, welcome. I don't know if I said hi. Day 2 of YouTube sending me a notification. Look at that. Look at YouTube. Good job, YouTube. YouTube deserves another round of applause. Look at that.
budget. So you can't throw in there, we're going to ban abortion or something to that effect. On top of which, under that is known as the Byrd Rule, on top of which the Byrd Rule also says that within a 10-year window, any deficit can't exist outside of that 10-year window. And so that's why all of these budgets are done.
Tina rating in with a party of 13. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. You guys are walking in at the perfect moment. We're just getting started, folks. If you don't know who I am a Difficult Truth. I do the news, I do the politics. We're here usually about Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoy your stay and haven't hit that follow button, do so. Erica, welcome. Quasi-Spec. Tina said to say bye, streamer. Tina's great. Make sure you go support Tina_2. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the raid and bringing over your community. Had to jump to YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. You can. You definitely can. You definitely can. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it. She might have meant when we were leaving, but it's funnier as a raid message. We'll take it.
With a 10-year horizon. The deficit, this will balloon after those 10 years, though, the deficit dramatically, somewhere around like $4 trillion.
We love our Tina here, don't we, folks? We love Tina. We love Tina as a streamer. She does great content, folks. Nobody does content like Tina. Okay? She does a great job. Great job.
They don't seem to be terribly concerned about the deficit. And the other thing they don't seem to be concerned about is the 10 to 13 million people who will lose Medicaid health insurance because of it. Here is a clip of Alex Lawson from Social Security Works, who has been on top of this from day one, with Representative Marionette Miller Meeks, Republican from Iowa. And was she from Iowa or Indiana? Iowa. And she apparently had said she was never going.
That's a nice stream you have there. It'd be a shame if you had to say goodbye to it. Dude, what up? Hey, how's it going? All kidding aside, your lefty streamers are really doing a great job. Appreciate it. In my opinion, we're watching actors in mass, Elon, Joe, Hillary, etc. Not all, but definitely some. I mean, I suppose so, right? Like, the goal is power, but, you know, someone like, I think someone like Elon is, I think he's a true believer. I think he literally is just like that. Like, he's just a Nazi. He's just a far-right Nazi troll, okay? He's like 4chan personified. Mega 4chan brain.
Cut Medicaid for her people, and apparently now she doesn't want to talk about it.
Introducing automated mileage tracking with Soho.
What?
Congresswoman, I was wondering if
Jeez, that audio was jarring, but this is actually kind of funny. Elon was raised in it. Did you see what Trump is doing to the South African immigration right now? Yeah, I'm pretty sure Elon's like super excited about that, right?
you would just talk to us on your way over to the conference meeting. Last time you spoke with us, you lied to our face. You said that you weren't going to vote for Medicaid cuts. But then you've actually voted for the largest cuts to Medicaid in the history of the country.
Yeah, and like just to be clear, like there are going to be cuts, right? Like there's no way that you can like do this without affecting big programs like Medicaid. I'm once again asking for your support to install an ad blocker. It'll happen one day.
Do you have any comments on that? Do you have any comments on the 4 hospitals in your district that are going to close because of your vote? Representative Miller Meeks, I'm wondering if you have any comment on the health care that 67,000 people in your district are going to lose?
And I hope this clip goes viral, right? Like, I hope that these clips go viral because like people like need to know, okay, what these ghouls are doing. This is an active choice. This is an active policy decision. Yes, why won't this damn door open? Yeah, she's internally screaming right now. Yeah, they don't care about you. Yep.
Does it concern you that you only won by 800 votes?
Oof.
She was like 2.
Oof. Yikes. Yikes. Let's see how that goes in the midterms. Let's see how that bodes for her in the midterms, assuming that she is up for re-election.
2 seconds away from prying open the doors and jumping down the elevator shaft before it arrived.
Now, I just want to say, like, you know, there's a couple of things that are really important to remember here. When you have 10 to 13 million people lose their health insurance on Medicaid, there are hospitals that rely specifically on Medicaid payments to function. And there's going to be a lot of closures of those hospitals.
Yep. And you can't
And
ignore
apparently
that.
4 of them are going to be in that district. And apparently she won by 800 votes.
And you can't ignore that, right? Like, you know, you're going to see that. People have such short attention spans and memories, or there's no better choice. Yep. John Lithium, welcome.
This is, I mean, it's hard to know whether it's just they're so bloodthirsty for tax cuts. And again, we showed the images yesterday. Maybe we can pop this up just to remind people. Let's just do.
I mean, like, yeah, that's been like the plan for a while now, right? That's it. Like, they have to get as much money as possible, okay? And one of those ways when you start running out of methods of increasing profit, and you've grown and ballooned to the size of, like, I don't know, an Amazon. Or a Facebook or a Walmart, then you start advocating and lobbying for lower taxes, for tax cuts. It's pretty good because it's inviting the person to engage and they're running away. MR showed a clip with the person haranguing Fetterman in a park a bit back, and it was such a miss to me because it was the exact kind of interaction that can't be engaged with. And I hate seeing that highlighted. Not like we're killing it on messaging effectiveness.
Graph number.
Yeah. To be fair, Fetterman does deserve it, but yeah, I get your point.
I think it's graph number 1. And let's do graph number one. This is clip
Jesus wants me to have as much money as possible. True.
number one, rather. Just this graph. Can we pop that up? Yeah. Just so that you know and are reminded, like who gets into these, who gets these tax cuts? Now, this one's, 67% of the tax cuts go to the richest 20%.
Nice.
In terms of dollars.
They're the job creators.
You can look at another one. I think maybe it's 3. The Center on Budget Policy Priorities that really sort of like lays it out specifically what kind of percentage each segment of the population based upon income will be getting. If you are in the first 20 percentile, the least wealthy in terms of income, you get a 0.6 tax cut.
Nice.
If you are in the middle 20%, you get a 1.2% tax cut.
Heck yeah.
If you're in the fourth 20%, which means that we're talking 60% of the people will get a 1.8% tax cut or lower. But if you are within basically the middle 20% of the income distribution, you get a 1.8% tax cut. If you are between 80 and 90%, if you are one of the 80 to 90 percenters in this country, you get a 2.1% tax cut. But this is where it starts you really start to feel the punch. If you make between 90 and 99%, highest incomes in the country, you get a 3.4% tax cut. If you're in the top 1%, you get a 3.4% tax cut. That's $52,000 you save. If you make over a million, it's 3.3% change in income. So at $1 million, it's like $80,000, and then it just keeps going.
And this comes as the concentration of annual income at the
Super cool. Memo for the record, welcome. Hope you're well. Well, we're hanging in there.
top of the spectrum
It's treason to do so. What is treason?
is at its highest levels since the 1920s, and we know what that led to. And Trump is actively emulating that time period. His fixation on William McKinley makes it seem like he has this kind of Gilded Age vision, and not in a good way. Like that's what he wants to drive us towards with the tariff policies as well, this protectionism, as opposed to just doing what we need to do to make our society better and more stable, which is to tax the rich and raise taxes on the rich and claw back that wealth that has gone to the top.
Now, there's one other element that has come out over the past 24 hours about this bill. Is that if the bill...
Yeah, generally very busy with life and work. Understandable. Infringing on the Second Amendment. Who's infringing? What? We're not talking about the Second Amendment. What do you mean the big bill is going to cut Medicaid? Doesn't that help people? Yeah. Yeah, I've got news about Republicans wanting to help people. I've got news about conservatives wanting to help people.
Is not deficit neutral. In 2012, I think people will remember this, or 2011.
In 2010,
Yeah, send those old people to work. We're not communism. This is capitalism. Yeah, the children. Okay, they yearn for the mines. Okay. The children yearn for the mines.
is what I'm reading here on the PAYGO stuff.
The sequestration, though, I think was part of the Budget Control Act of 2011, and that I think you may be right, but what that does is it basically says if you cannot come up with a certain amount of deficit reduction, sequestration is triggered, which essentially means we're going to cut across the board, spending cuts. And
Old people only get sicker when they don't work. That's why they need to be standing at a Walmart entrance for 8 hours a day. Yep. True.
Here is Representative Jim McGovern from Worcester.
Like, unironically, this actually touches on like the way they're gonna do. One of the ways they're gonna do cuts is by one of the ways they're gonna do cuts is by like doing more means testing, i.e., like work requirements. You know.
Talking to Representative Brendan Boyle, who was looking to the CBO to make an assessment as to whether or not sequestration will automatically kick in 2026 and what the implications of that sequestration would be.
And this, he asked for this analysis because the Republicans were rushing it through committee, and he only received it hours before they ended up voting in the dead of night to pass it. So
yeah, I mean, one of the things that they're doing with the CDC is they're saying,
yeah, you know, that's a great sign when you have representatives rushing in the middle of the night to make a vote on something that's supposed to be so good. You know, something that's supposed to be so good for the country, right? One big beautiful bill. Yeah, that's what I want when I'm doing like excellent legislation. I want to make sure that it gets passed in the dead of night. Can we wish him a happy birthday one before he has to sign off Twitch? Yeah, heck yeah. That's awesome. Happy birthday, dude. Enjoy your day tomorrow. Celebrating with steak. Nice. You got a double round of applause there. I'm losing by 1 vote because the DNC lawn timers won't retire and instead die in office. True. This big, beautiful bill will be the end of me. It'll be the end of, like, a lot of us, I think.
Well,
this country. I mean, like, look, the way that Donald Trump is operating, like, if you wanted to destroy the country, like, this is the kind of stuff that you would do. It was like by 1 or 2 votes, wasn't it? I forgot the final count. Yeah, like literally, it was literally that. It was literally that close. We tax silencers? Yep. On the plus side, yeah, I mean, like, that's, I mean, that's whatever. $200 since 1935. By literally 1 vote.
Won't let people know that measles is spreading horribly, and therefore, people will feel like there's no measles.
And incidentally, like, didn't just this one guy just die? The guy that won the chair position over AOC, didn't he literally just die? Cool, now we don't have to listen to all the gunfire.
Republicans are taking sort of the same tact with this bill. If we pass it without actually finding out how much this is going to cost, then
Jerry Connolly,
it won't cost that much.
Well, they need to make the king happy. It's also what Trump's COVID policy was. Like, if we stop testing, then there's no COVID.
Keep the ship off the boat. Keep the ship off the coast. Let them not dock.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, as you know, statutory pay-go, which stands for pay-as-you-go, is a law that requires tax cuts and spending increases to be offset, meaning that they do not add to the deficit. If at the end of the year, congressional legislation collectively violates pay-go, those deficit effects trigger across-the-board cuts to programs like Medicare.
Yep.
Does this bill trigger statutory pay-go?
Yes, and it's not me saying it. It is the Congressional Budget Office confirming it as of a couple hours ago. And look, this is really the breaking news, because when the Budget Committee kicked off this process approximately 3 months ago, there was a commitment by President Trump that there would be no Medicare cuts in this piece of legislation. And indeed, over the last several months, there's been no discussion of Medicare at all. There has been of Medicare.
Yeah, I mean, like, as long as the billionaires get taxed so properly, then, like, yeah, it wouldn't really matter at the end of the day because we'd have more pool to get from. So, yeah, I mean, like, the issue is The issue is rich people don't pay their fair share. Seth Evans, welcome. Couldn't prove themselves to be anything but the trash-controlled opposition that they are.
Medicaid, but not of Medicare. Well, here we are tonight because, as you explained, because of the size of the deficits, because of the pay-go or pay-as-you-go act, that would trigger sequestration of Medicare, and it would total over $500 billion. The official figure that CBO confirms is $535 billion in cuts to Medicare.
The party of fiscal responsibility, by the way.
And this bill doesn't waive statutory pay-go.
No, it does not.
So this will have a direct impact on Medicare and the federal budget, which is, again, I think a lot of people who are not following this as closely as you are probably not aware of and will be surprised to learn about tomorrow.
Yep. They do nothing but occupy space and suck up oxygen for any alternative use of political power that might actually address the crisis reactionaries constantly divide and conquer with, but obviously no perfectly logical if you're the dictatorship of capital. Yep. I'm not disagreeing that the Democratic Party's ineffectiveness is an issue.
Chairman Hill.
By the way, thanks to Obama and Nancy Pelosi,
Obama,
who really pushed for pay-go legislation in 2010 and framed it as how they were the responsible party dealing with the deficit, and we have to put this...
Which is, again, a political football, right? Like, because, like, Republicans right now, Donald Trump right now is, like, blowing up the freaking deficit, okay? And, like, I guess that's fine now? I guess it's okay because, they're doing it.
We have to push pay-go so that we look reasonable to the American public. Was that the same exact year that Democrats lost 1,000 seats across the country?
Well, to be fair, they lost those 1,000 seats over the course of the Obama two terms.
But they did get wiped out in the House.
2010, they got completely wiped out.
And so under pay-go, Jake Johnson has a really good write-up of this in Common Dreams. Automatic Medicare cuts are capped at 4%. But the CBO estimates that the Republican legislation would trigger roughly $45 billion in Medicare cuts in 2026 and a total of $490 billion in cuts to the program between 2027 and 2030.
Yeah, so again, like, understand that when they say that they're not touching Medicaid or Medicare, they're not, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Okay? They've been trying to go after these programs since, like, their inception. Rand Paul and Chip Roy are the only cons that noticed the deficit increase. Yep, I've been venting since last night. At some point, I'm just going to get too exhausted to vent anymore. They will still vote for it. Yep.
34. So it's they're being sneaky about it. They're saying that they don't want to. That they're not going to touch Medicare or Social Security, but they understand that by triggering pay-go, they can do it in a roundabout way. It's all about hiding the ball. The initial attempts to do this with Medicaid also was part of their strategy, where if they reduced the matching rate, they would trigger laws in the states that expanded Medicaid under the ACA to cut Medicaid themselves. It's just like, isn't it telling how they have to be so secretive about how they're trying to harm the American public?
Yep. It's in the sense of, I'm not touching a 4-year-old says to their sibling as they hover their finger 1 micrometer out in front of their eye. In the sense that they're not touching Medicaid or Medicare and Social Security. Yep. Basically, anything that actually anything actually good the government does, that they hadn't yet managed to completely ruin. Yeah, exactly. And like that's exactly it, right? It helps people. So we can't have that, right? Because then people might want a little bit more. Maybe after a realizing that Medicaid is actually a very efficient program, maybe they'll want Medicaid for all, right?
all of the mechanisms that they're using, ostensibly, oh, we're going to put worker requirements on this. They know what it does. They know what these work requirements does, and it's not just because there's a lot of people who are not working. It's because the bureaucracy, the red tape, the mechanisms to institute this end up cutting funds from Medicaid. Same with SNAP. I mean, they do it for a reason. It is to make it harder for people to access this stuff.
Right. And then they'll say like, oh, see, it doesn't work. Ha, see? I didn't touch it. I just poured gasoline on it and left some matches nearby, you know? I don't know. That's just kind of the way it happens. Well, we all end up with a screaming kid with a sore eye. Would Trump be the screaming kid in this analogy? Moanep, welcome. Means testing is of the devil. True. At this point, it's going to be which state you live in. California provides like 70% of Medicare. Cutting it would federally wouldn't affect some states as much. True. But like that's kind of the problem, right? Like, why should it depend on which state you live in? It depends on how much Medicare benefits you get. It's just wild. This program I broke is clearly broken. Yes, so let me privatize it. House passes Trump's sweeping tax cut bill and sends it to the Senate. Republicans in the House of Representatives won passage on Thursday of a major bill that would enact Trump's tax and spending priorities while adding trillions of dollars to the debt and potentially preventing millions of Americans from accessing federal safety net benefits. I mean, like, that pretty much encapsulates what happened. The one big, beautiful bill that was approved in early morning hours, because that's what you do. When you want to do something good for the American people, you make sure that you do it in the wee hours of the morning, or I guess night, so that they don't know what's going on. With 250 votes in favor and 214 against, as memo for the record, and I think another chatter said, by one vote. The passage ended weeks of negotiations that drew into question the GOP's ability to find agreement on Trump's top legislative priority in a chamber controlled by just 3 seats. One big billionaire bill. It's finally moving. It's finally morning in America again, said the House Speaker Mike Johnson as he passed this bill in the again dead of night, because it's such a great bill that you want to hide when the votes happen. Manju Misty, welcome. The media and Democrats have consistently dismissed any possibility that the House Republicans could get this done. They did not believe that we could succeed in our mission to enact President Trump's, quote, America First agenda, ? But this is a big one, and once again, they have been proven wrong. Trump cheered the vote and encouraged the Senate to pass the legislation quickly. This is arguably the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. Sure. Now it's time for our friends in the United States Senate to get to work and send this bill to my desk as soon as possible. There's no time to waste. The bill would make good on several of Trump's campaign promises, including extending tax cuts for individuals. Yeah, let's try that again. For extending tax cuts for billionaires and corporations and sunsetting clean energy incentives enacted by President Biden. Cool. Very good stuff. The kind of stuff that you would make sure that you don't let the American people know what's going on. It also relieves taxes on tips, overtime, and car loan interest, offers $1,000 to parents that open Trump accounts for their children and What? Trump accounts for their children and expands the deduction for older taxpayers, though only for as long as Trump remains in office. Cool. The bill additionally pays for construction of a wall along the border of Mexico, of course. That car loan interest, yep. And new staff and facilities for mass deportation of undocumented immigrants, of course. It To offset its costs, the GOP has approved funding cuts for new work requirements for Medicaid, which provides health care for poor and disabled Americans, and the SNAP programs. Analysts fears that these changes will bar millions from these benefits, which is the point. When they say we're not cutting Medicare, SNAP, and all these other benefits, they are, okay? Imposing working requirements or upping the working requirements or any other hurdle with the intention, because this is the intention, to make sure that you are not qualified for these benefits is indeed cutting said benefits. I thought Mexico was going to pay for the wall, and the wall was already built. Yeah, I guess, but now it's not. But it is. But don't worry. This one big, beautiful bill will pay for everything, okay? I know we said Mexico would do it, okay? And we tried. We really tried. But, it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll fund it. We'll do it ourselves. Schrodinger's wall. It's both... it's both Mexico paid for it and we paid for it. It both exists and doesn't exist. S.J. Parrish, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Eating popcorn while the burning world slowly collapses. Just make sure you put some butter on it. I'm going to eat some popcorn later. I thought Mexico was going to pay for the... Oh, yes, we did this. I almost reread a comment there. Here goes 1K. Don't say I didn't do anything for you whiners. Now, SDFU. You know what? That's fine. Okay, it's almost your birthday, dude. So, I almost read your comment twice. There you go. To offset the cost, the GOP has approved funding cuts and new work requirements for Medicaid, which provides health care for poor and disabled Americans, and the SNAP program. Analysts fear these changes will bar millions from benefits. Sleepy Alexis, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Or Sleepy Alex. To offset, even with the cuts, the measure is expected to add about $2.3 trillion to the deficit, according to... remember, this is the same a deficit that we're supposed to be concerned about when a Democrat is in office, right? According to the nonpartisan CBO, its passage in the House comes less than a week after credit ratings agency Moody's stripped the U.S. of its top-notch AAA rating and warned of large national debt. House Democratic leaders have decried the bill as a tax scam and is deeply unpopular, which is why Republicans make every effort to advance it during the dead of the night. I mean, this is true. This is true. If you installed an ad blocker, I'll be so happy. Okay. That will be my project for tomorrow. This fight is just the beginning, and House Democrats will continue to use every tool at their disposal to ensure that the GOP tax scam is buried deep in the ground and never to rise again. That's cool. What happened again? Oh, it passed. It passed. Got it. Cool. Thank you, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. The Whip and Catherine Clark, the caucus chair, and Pete Aguilar said. If it happens at night, people have no way of finding out about it. Yep, and that's exactly the kind of stuff that you want when passing stuff that is very good for the American people, right? You want to make sure it's in the dead of night. Welcome, Sassy Tasserai. It doesn't let me add uBlock origin. Well, I'll take a look at it. But there's still protests in the U.S. I haven't seen anything past the ones earlier this month. I know if you follow 5051 on Blue Sky, they post when stuff is happening. I want to say Indivisible. Trying to see here, but yeah, if you follow them on the Blue Sky. I sent on Discord. Okay, gotcha. The news is intentionally not covering protests. The protests are all over TikTok. Well, there you go. Oh, I see. It's because of Firefox. Okay, so it works on Firefox, but not on Chrome. There was that protest where the New York mayor got arrested. Yeah, that just happened not that long ago. I'm just like, just because they did it all night, people wake up and can see the news. Confusing. Yeah, but like, I feel like maybe it's just it's just because like if they say that we're gonna schedule a vote for like, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then like people can like start calling their representatives, right? People can start calling their representatives and voice their concerns if they say we're gonna have this vote at a whatever time that's kind of more or less in the middle of the day or whatnot. But if they just kind of do a flight by night, they could just hold the vote and they won't get bothered. So Life is a big fan of uBlock Origins and Firefox. I've seen him say it here many times. Chrome is trying to kill ad blockers, but I think they're actually doing is killing Chromium. The internet is unusable with ads. I mean, there's a uBlock that's still extensions. That's still for Chrome, but let's see.
In terms of political spending, I'm
Maybe we won't get an ad this time. We'll see. YouTube detects old ad blockers. They detected my uBlock origin, so I had to find another one. I mean, it's uBlock Origin Lite. We'll see if this works. Which ads do you want to block? Mostly YouTube. LibreWolf works better than Firefox, in my opinion, sometimes. That's a different browser. I have to look into that. You know what? What if I refresh this? Ha! Look at that. No ads. DuckDuckGo has a built-in video player which completely blocks all ads. Later's gotta run. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. It's a more privacy-focused browser. Firefox added some goofy stuff to their terms recently. Ad Blocker Pro Shield. I think I saw that one. Pretty sure I use the AdBlock extension on Chrome, works well. Sometimes if you hit the refresh button a lot on YouTube, YouTube will not show an ad because they think you're a bot. That's pretty awesome, Kirkenstein's Monster. Sammy, welcome. Appreciate it. The bill drew rare condemnation from Barack Obama. Right now, Republicans in Congress are trying to push through the bill that would put millions of Americans at risk of losing health care. They want to cut federal funding for Medicaid. They want to take away tax credits to help more people afford coverage and raise costs for working class families, the former president said. They encourage people to contact their senators to oppose the measure. Democratic lawmakers' options are limited. The party is in the minority in both chambers, and Republicans are following the budget reconciliation procedure to prevent it from facing a filibuster in the Senate. The biggest obstacle the bill faces is disputes among Republicans themselves. In the days leading up to the vote, Johnson had to reach agreements with lawmakers representing Democratic-led states who demanded a bigger deduction for states and local taxes, SALT. He also had to woo moderates aware of cutting too deeply into safety net programs and right-wing lawmakers demanding more cost savings. The speaker appears to have bridged those divides, aided by a visit to the Capitol from Trump on Tuesday. Moderates backed down after some cuts were nixed, while lawmakers who held out over SALT won in a large tax break. Johnson also managed to corral most fiscal conservatives, but acknowledged there was a few moments over the last week where it looked like the thing might fall apart. Also, no one's going to really call their Congress people over this. All of their phone lines are wide open, especially if you call a Republican. You can call Republicans that do not represent you, FYI. True. They're true. They're just gonna ignore the parliamentarian anyways. Yep. Kentucky's Thomas Massey and Ohio's Warren Davidson were the sole Republicans to vote no on the bill, and both cited its impact on the deficit. This bill is a debt bomb ticking, said Massey. We're not rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic tonight. We're putting coal in the boiler and setting a course for the iceberg. Legislation now heads to the Senate, where Republicans say they would likely have it on Trump's desk by July 4th, the Independence holiday. We're going to fight this tooth and nail, said Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer. Ah, yes. You know, when I think fighter, I think Chuck Schumer, adding that he expected a tax and Medicaid cuts would be controversial among the chamber's Republicans. Based on what the House has passed, their chances of taking back the Senate have just increased, because while billions of Republicans claim that their tax scam will lift Americans across the board, the American people see it for it's just plain false. Okay, but like, what are you doing about it? Okay, you need to make this argument, and you need to be out there saying what the issues are and why this is bad. But okay, cool. Thanks, Chuck. I look forward to your strongly worded tweet or whatever.
In terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Also, I don't believe him.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
You heard that right, my friends. Elon Musk is stepping back from politics, not because his car company is dying or because he's being excommunicated from Trump world. See, it's his choice to step back because he already accomplished his mission at Doge.
Which is, what exactly? Aroused. That's right, Chuck Schumer.
But, you know, he can tell himself that, sure. But deep down, I think he knows that it's because Americans hate him. And as a result of said hatred, Republicans are distancing themselves from him, including Trump, who conspicuously stopped talking about Elon Musk, as you can see from this graph, courtesy of Politica, which is very interesting because he went from posting about how wonderful Elon Musk is multiple times per day to just not bringing him up at all, which is funny. And the reason why this is happening is because, as one GOP strategist put it, he's finished, done, gone. He polls terrible. People hate him. He'd go to Wisconsin thinking he can buy people's votes, wear the cheese hat, act like a 9-year-old. It doesn't work. It's offensive to people. And this disdain for Elon Musk isn't exclusive to Democrats, mind you, because Trump's own cabinet cannot stand this man. The Atlantic reports that Elon Musk got into another screaming match with a Trump official.
I don't believe him. I don't believe him either. I think that he's saying this because he's worried that the Tesla board is like maybe genuinely considering replacing him if he keeps this up. But yeah.
This time, it was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent who reportedly screamed "fuck you" to Elon Musk multiple times while they were up in each other's faces. But Bessent isn't alone in his hatred of Musk, because The Atlantic continues, quote, "How many people were fired because they didn't send in their 3 things a week or whatever the fuck it was?" One Trump advisor requested anonymity to speak frankly told us. "I think that everyone is ready to move on from this part of the administration." And at one point, they explain, sick of presiding over the competing complaints about Elon Musk, Trump finally declared, "Bring them all in here and we'll have at it." The next day, the cabinet secretaries did just that. Details of the meeting, including Musk's heated back and forth with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as well as with Doug Collins, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, and Sean Duffy, the Transportation Secretary, almost immediately leaked into news reports. Musk upbraided Rubio during the meeting for not sufficiently reducing his staff, and Rubio, already upset that Musk had essentially dissolved USAID, one of the agencies under his purview, vigorously fought back. That was one of the turning points for Trump and Marco, where Trump realized Marco had a little spine, one Trump ally told us.
Oh my God. Absolute freaking circus, man. I feel like people forget Chuck said that, so I'm glad I don't look super weird for yelling aroused. Trump won't totally cut Elon off. Trump is indebted to him for bailing out his campaign, but Trump doesn't want to talk or touch him at the moment. Yep. Leopards are getting thick from all the faces. True. Didn't he kick out Elon out of the White House last term? I don't know.
Several people
Maybe.
told us that though Musk understood that he was walking into an ambush, he was unaware of the extent of the coming pile-on. Love that for him. So he was seemingly unaware of how hated he was among Trump's cabinet officials. Like, he got a sense that things weren't necessarily peachy keen, but he underestimated how much they reviled him. Because, I mean, this man's ego rivals that of Trump. So
This is like genuinely funny, okay? Like, look, this is genuinely funny.
of course, he wouldn't expect things to be that bad, but I'm glad that they confronted him. But to add insult to injury, Elon Musk started to question Donald Trump himself, specifically his tariffs. And in doing so, he broke the cardinal rule, which is to never question the king. See, Trump was on Elon Musk's side during the H-1B visa fight, but after months of hyping up his tariffs, Elon Musk should have known that Trump wasn't going to just back down so easily. I mean, he did do that, but, you know, Elon Musk didn't understand how glued Trump was to tariffs in general. And so even though he paused tariffs currently, they're temporary pauses. So he's not just going to unilaterally withdraw from this fight to get tariffs implemented, because that's what he wants to do. And even though other Trump administration officials probably didn't agree with the tariffs either, they're at least smart enough to know to shut the fuck up for purposes of self-preservation, whereas that was not the case with Elon Musk. So suffice to say, everyone forced to work closely with this man absolutely cannot stand him. And of course, Americans feel the same way. And CNN's data analyst Harry Ansan put it into perspective, and these numbers are wild.
Elon Musk's net favorability rating. Look at this shift. Back in 2017, before he really started this politics thing, he was at plus 24 points. Look at where he is now. Whoa, he fell through the floor. Minus 19.
This guy. I can't stand that we have to be constantly aware of this POS because he's grifted his way to being a billionaire. Yep. All billionaires are grifters, true. Yep. And in this case, it's kind of like, hey, this guy is possibly like, hopefully, although I don't trust him, but hopefully piecing out of the public eye when it comes to politics. Wouldn't it be funny if Elon gets the space laser contract and he uses space lasers to melt everyone from that meeting? This would be an Elon Musk thing to do.
Among Democrats, the fall was even more dramatic. We're talking about going from plus 35 points on net favorability
Plus
rating.
35.
That is quite a popular guy among Democrats. To get this now down to minus 91 points. You can't really go lower than that. I guess you could go down to minus 100 points, but he became political kryptonite. He was greatly disliked by the American public and greatly, greatly, greatly disliked by Democrats. And
yeah, dude, he sucks. It turns out that nobody likes a billionaire oligarch Nazi who's like whose like political ideology and messaging has been like, you know, essentially like 4chan personified, you know. He pulled the JD Vance Ipsos. This one actually is Obama's fault. Yep. Like actually like unironically. Yeah.
Obviously, we saw that in Wisconsin when, of course, he spent all that money and then the liberal won that Supreme Court race.
Yes. How has that plummet of popularity impacted the brand?
Yeah, exactly right. So this is Elon Musk individually. How about Tesla? Okay, let's take a look. The net favorability rating. Look, General Motors, we're going to compare General Motors and Tesla. General Motors, quite well liked by the American people, plus 23 points on net favorability rating. But look at Tesla. Minus 20 points. So this idea
this
that
guy
Tesla
in the
could
suit looks like a Sims character. Awful, awful, awful. Weak.
somehow separate itself out from Elon Musk. The American people saw it the exact same way. And of course, Tesla is a business. They're in the business of selling cars. Awfully difficult to sell cars when you have a minus 20-point net favorability rating driven by Elon Musk's net favorability rating right around the same mark. And it's not a big surprise that Tesla sales had fallen in the past, at least in the first quarter, compared to where they were a year ago. It turns out that Elon Musk's political kryptonite was also becoming kryptonite for selling cars.
Yeah, and speaking of Tesla...
Oof. Yeah. Lone Scum to the rescue. I've been wanting to play Sims 3 again. Yeah, actually, Mrs. Truth really likes The Sims. Spent spent a lot of time on The Sims.
He sat down for an interview with Bloomberg TV and was visibly butthurt when he was asked about the downfall of Tesla. He's obviously still in denial, but he doesn't have a very good poker face because it's obvious that this is a very touchy subject for him. He's also very sensitive about the judge who sided with Tesla's shareholders and shot down a $50 billion compensation package for him. So even though he's projecting confidence in this interview, it's obvious that it's nothing more than a facade, and you're going to know what I mean when I show you the clip. So without further ado, here it is.
If we start with Tesla, the company has suffered in recent months what you've called blowback. So what is your plan for turning that around, the declining sales picture, and by what stage do
You love to see it, folks. You love to see it.
you think you're going to be able to turn it around?
Oh, it's already turned around.
You would
Oh,
acknowledge
yeah, sure. Just say it, and it's true. Europe has those Chinese cars, and the U.S. economy will be crashing soon, so no buyers here. Elon is doomed. I hope so. Good companies know not to get too political. Just go with whatever the majority of your clients already agree with. Yeah, just put the just put the agreeable politics in the bag. Okay.
wouldn't you, that what you are facing, okay, let's just take it as Europe, what you are facing is a significant problem. This Tesla was an incredibly aspirational brand. People identified with it. They saw it as being at the forefront of the climate crisis, and now people are driving around with stickers in their cars saying, I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy.
And there are also people who are buying it because Elon's crazy, or however they may view it. So yes, we've lost some sales perhaps on the left, but we've gained them on the right. The sales numbers at this point are strong, and we see no problem with demand.
So what do you...
And I mean, you can just look at the stock price.
Please don't fire me. Please don't fire me. Okay, if any shareholders listening to this, please don't. Look, I'm a good boy. Okay. Elon hates everybody. I can see it in his eyes. He's gonna make society fry. Oh yeah, Elon doesn't care about anybody. Like, he can pretend to care about society and advancing the human species or whatever the heck he talks about. But that's not. Yeah, he just only cares about himself.
If you want the best inside information, the stock market.
What a loser! Yep.
Analysts.
Yeah, he's not lying. He's manifesting.
That, and our stock wouldn't be trading near all-time highs if it was not. If things weren't in good shape. They're fine. Don't worry about it.
Please, board of directors. Look. See, line up. Yeah. You guys are watching this? Line up. Yeah. Yeah. He cares about the scientist getting his escape pods ready. Yep. Yeah, Omega Cope. Yep, Cope. Elon only cares about colonizing. Yep.
Okay. This is the judge who twice struck down the $56 billion pay package that was awarded to you. I think the value on the current value of stock options. Yeah.
Not a judge. The activist who is cosplaying a judge in a Halloween costume. Now let's move on.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Okay. Whatever, bro. Not mad, by the way. Not mad. Okay.
Okay. Well, just one question. Well, one question before we move on to other companies, which is that
this is incredibly cringe and uncomfortable and funny to watch at the same time. I'm pretty sure a lot of what he thinks is cool or technological is just based on science fiction books. I was reading Stranger in a Strange Land, and he has to have read that book multiple times. It's really bad, though. I keep thinking about the movie Carrie when she thought everyone was laughing at her and she snapped. That's Elon. Seriously. Yep. Liar, liar, pants on fire. He does look broken. Okay. Where's little Kevlar? Well, he's not in public. I guess he feels safe right now. He's obsessed with Dune. Probably for the wrong reasons, though, yeah. Because I like Dune, but I guess the spice must not flow.
I wonder if some of what has happened to Tesla in the last few months Did you take it personally?
Yes. And I'm not someone who's ever committed violence. And yet, massive violence was committed against my companies. Massive violence was threatened against me. Who are these people?
Wait, what? Dune is misread by right-wingers. Yep, I'm just gonna fear. He had a thing about CO2 poisoning a while back, too, and it feels like he got that from Green Mars, which is at least a better book. At least he can read, marginally.
Why would they do that? What's wrong with these people? I've not harmed anyone. Those people go to prison.
I've never harmed
and the people
anyone! Bro, are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself? I've never harmed anyone. Okay, dude. He's a right-wing activist cosplaying as I don't know, a smart businessman? Yeah.
funded them and organized them will also go to prison. Don't worry.
But wouldn't you?
We're coming for you.
Wouldn't?
Yeah, dude. Okay, sure, bro. Whatever. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that pause frame. Okay, can we make this into an emote? This Oh my god. You don't have to raise a hand to commit violence. Yep. I'm gonna turn this into an emote. 1 second, please. Get doged. I dare Elon Musk to show up to my house, please. Okay, I think I got... This is gonna be good enough. I'm gonna save it. This can easily be a meme. Oh yeah, I'm saving this. This is gonna be an emote. Okay? I don't know what I'm gonna call the emote, but save. This is gonna be a Discord emote, okay? Oh, you know what? I can save it. I'll just save it here. Okay. Bro, looks like a bad guy in a children's show. All right. I saved it. Okay. That's too funny.
Wouldn't you? But wouldn't you acknowledge that some of the people who turned against Tesla in Europe were upset at your politics, and very few of them would have been violent in any way. They just objected to what they saw you say or do politically.
Now, he doesn't provide her with a very meaningful answer to that question, which is why I didn't play it for you. And in fact, that entire clip was like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. It would have been about 12 minutes, I kid you not, if I didn't cut out all of his meandering and superfluous bullshit. But as you can see, his petulance was on full display and his narcissism runs so goddamn deep. He is incapable of understanding why people do not like him. But Elon, if you're watching, I'm going to help you understand. First and foremost, you think you're funny, but you're not. Case in point.
Well, Mr. President, you know, they say I wear a lot of hats. It's true. Even my hat has a hat.
Ha, dude. Ha, get it? Because he's like wearing 2 hats? Yeah? Can someone explain what the hypothetical motive for his lies are? I haven't heard anyone. Is he delusional, or is there an audience for this? I mean, yes. Yes. Got a nice clip with that freeze in it. Perhaps someone will answer the call of emotes. I mean, I'm just planning to square it up and give it a little a background deletion. Little magic background deletion and send it. That's what I'm gonna do. Ketamine is a hell of a drug. True.
Yeah, I rest my case. Second of all, your thirst for attention is embarrassing and downright cringeworthy. Third, you used your wealth to buy yourself a position in government and then used the power that you bought to corruptly enrich yourself while fucking over the most vulnerable people on the planet. You spread lies about Social Security. You pretend to be confident even though you're transparently insecure and desperate to be liked by everyone when you're not. You're a deadbeat dad. You're a transphobic piece of shit. You bought Twitter and ruined it, which is emblematic of how everything you touch turns to shit, and any successful venture that you've been part of is successful in spite of you, not because of you.
Right, like Twitter is like the perfect example, right? Because Twitter is just him, right? Twitter is just him. I see him all the time trying to crack a joke and then looks at everyone frantically hoping to see people laugh, and it's even funnier when nobody laughs. Yeah, the famous clip, I am become meme. That one was gold. Talk about putting a hat on a hat. We already knew Elon was a charisma vacuum, but he really emphasized it there by not being able to tell a compelling joke. It's so sad that Elon Musk exists.
You say you support free speech, yet you censor your critics on Twitter and threaten journalists with lawsuits for criticizing you. You spread white supremacist conspiracy theories, including the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, as well as white genocide in South Africa. You support Israel's genocide in Gaza, so you're not anti-genocide like you say you are. Oh, and you're a Nazi. And rather than owning it, you try to gaslight us and pretend like you're not a Nazi and we're all crazy for thinking that you are. For example,
Try to claim that I was a Nazi because of some random hand gesture.
Random hand gesture. Yeah, dude. I mean, sure, bud. We all saw it, okay? You folks saw it. I saw it, okay? And we all know what that was, okay? Like, there's no discussion here on what we all saw with our own eyes. Right, and to make things clear, like he did it twice, right? It wasn't a fluke; it was an intentional act. It wasn't a random hand gesture, right? It's random, right? Like you would do like this, and then maybe with your other hand you might wave like this, but like that's not what he did, okay? See, that was a random hand gesture. That's not what he did. Okay, he literally did the thing, and then he turned around and then did the Nazi salute. Okay, again, the fascist salute. Yeah, Steve Bannon sure saw it. So to say that this was random is just a lie. It's just a lie. It's just a lie. We all saw it. Every one of you that saw the clip saw it. I saw it. Okay, let's be so for real right now. Let that sink in. Wah, wah, wah. What a freaking loser, man. What a loser.
At a rally where all I said was that my heart goes out to you, and I was talking about space travel. And yet, legacy media promoted that as though that was a deliberate Nazi gesture, when in fact...
But you did it twice. The same way. There's video, right? Like, you see, this is the kind of stuff where, like, reporters or whoever is doing this interview needs to have this kind of stuff, like, kind of like on deck, so that they can be like, oh, so like, look, this is you doing it twice. Like, here's the video. Like, here's the video. This is you doing it twice. This is not random, right? Like, show them the video and being like, look, and play it for the public and saying, like, this is not random, okay? You chose to do this. This was deliberate. Can Elon go to space one way? Currently, I mean, like, if he wants to go to Mars, he was trolling, but there's no excuse for the second time. Yeah, I mean, like...
Every politician, any public speaker who's spoken for any length of time has made the exact same gesture.
No. No. I have yet to see like a massive wave of I mean, maybe the politicians that he follows, maybe the politicians that he listens to, make those kind of hand gestures, but no, they don't. No, they don't. Maybe at the Republican rallies that he goes to, but no, that's not normal at all. Doing Nazi salutes or fascist salutes, whatever, is not normal. People don't do that. Okay, they don't do the Sieg Heil and then turn around and then Sieg Heil. Okay, again. The whoopsies was going off. Whoopsies was going full off mask off like that. He didn't mean to be so honest. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Hey, dipshit. We know the difference between a wave and a fucking Nazi salute. And you do too, hence why people like your mom only share still images of politicians supposedly Sieg Heiling, because if you watch the videos, it'd be clear that they're waving, not Sieg Heiling. Right. But that's not the only thing that you've lied about, Elon, because you're a compulsive liar and we all know it. You also boasted about being one of the highest ranked players in the world in Path of Exile 2 and Diablo, only to get caught paying people to boost your accounts.
I mean, like, dude, I mean, I know it's not like the biggest, thing in the world, right? Like, who cares? But like, how pathetic do you have to be, right? You're a billionaire, man. All you have is time, okay? You could actually be good at these video games, okay?
And then you lied about it, but finally admitted that you were indeed paying people to boost your accounts because it became too pathetic even for you to...
What a loser, man. Like, this guy is just like pathetic on pathetic on pathetic.
Defend, because at that point everybody knew you weren't the elite gamer that you wanted us to think you were. You're also petty, vindictive, morally bankrupt. You think you're the main character. You're the richest man in the world, yet you portray yourself as a victim. You think that you're intelligent, but you're wrong about virtually everything. By the way, I forgot what number we're on.
A real nerd would have praised the sun. Elon has social as well as moral flaws. Yeah. Is a Diablo expert though? Not me. I am not like, dude. If you see my Diablo build, okay, and I just played the Diablo Immortal. I would imagine that an expert would probably cry the moment they saw my build. Okay.
I lost count at this point, but I can keep going. Trust me, I have so many more. In every conceivable way, this man is fucking insufferable. Even his own father doesn't like him. There's a reason why his daughter thinks that he's a charlatan too, and has publicly called him the fraud that he is. It's because Elon Musk is objectively detestable. So I hope that this has been informative for Elon Musk, assuming he's watching. There's a lot more where that came from, so give me a call, bud, if you need some more insults. But I want to get back to that interview, because it goes off the rails even further when the interviewer brings up how he's using his proximity to Trump to get a sweetheart deal in South Africa.
Hey, you know what I've noticed? No ads.
For Starlink. Now, this comes after he has accused the South African government of being racist towards whites because the government has laws in place to help white and black South Africans reach parity, which is kind of important since whites are a small minority in South Africa, yet they own the lion's share of property and businesses. Because this is a post-apartheid state. This was brought up, and in the interview, he genuinely starts to crash out during this portion of it. And it gets worse when the interviewer points out how Doge has been a complete failure even by his own standards. Like, this is insane to watch. Like, this is a 50-plus-year-old man crashing out like this, but just watch.
I was raised in a church, so I'm familiar with the concept. Humility. I've been to Pit 90 and Diablo 4, and that shit is hard. I was not running that alone. Yep. I did. I did. It was a ask from the birthday person. So from the birthday boy. So you know what? I mean, I think it worked. I don't see any ads. So yeah.
Let's think about Starlink. Starlink is obviously a very, very good internet service. It's sought after all over the world. It's critical to the front line in Ukraine. It has also had more contracts coming its way, and there is some evidence that companies are allowing access to it because they want to be
very nice. How much? Wait, what? How much what?
Close to the Trump administration and send the right signal. So Bloomberg broke news today that the South African government is working around the rules on black ownership in order to allow Starlink in, and that is being done on the eve of the visit that President Ramaphosa is going to make to the White House. Do you recognize that as a conflict of interest?
No, of course not. First of all, you should be questioning why are there racist laws in South Africa? That's the first problem. That's what you should be attacking. There are now 140 laws in South Africa that give that basically give strong preference to if you're a black South African and not otherwise. And so now I'm in this absurd situation where I was born in South Africa but cannot get a license to operate in Starlink because I'm not black.
Well, it looks like that's about. Looks like that's about to change.
I just asked you a question. Please answer.
We can do cute animal videos instead of ads now.
Does that seem right to you?
Well, those rules were designed to bring.
Yes or no?
Those rules were designed to bring about an era of more economic equality in South Africa, and it looks like the government has found a way around those rules for you.
I asked you a question.
Oof. I didn't pay for anyone for gear or anything, but I had friends. I had a friend no longer running with me. No, I play usually by myself. But yeah, I just play. I don't know what I'm doing in Diablo. Okay, the times that I do boot up Diablo, okay, I just kind of roam around. I just aimlessly roam around. Seth Evans, welcome. When will Whitey catch a break? It's for sure right. I would not deal with Elon Musk. Uniquely loathsome capitalism and an impressive feat. Elon does need help.
This is your interview. Everyone wants to hear from you.
Ask your question. Yes or no?
I want to ask you about the total amount that you're planning to save through Doge's work. Before the election, you said it was going to be at least $2 trillion. The number currently on Doge.gov is $170 billion. That's a big change. What happened to the $2 trillion?
Well, do you expect it to happen immediately?
You've talked about $4 billion
a
day being saved. The $4 billion a day, if Doge is going to run till next July, is not going to get you to $2 trillion.
Next friend, you turned into some weird transphobe. Boo. That's unfortunate. He wants to send her to hell. He's envisioning society burning in hell. Yeep.
But you still say it's your aim, so we'll take that as read.
There's what Doge. I mean, I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NPC dialogue tree of a traditional
What? Oh my God! Pulling up the straight up like 4chan 4chan arguments, right? Like you're just literally an NPC. Internet freaking talking points. Thanks, dude.
Journalist. So it's difficult when I'm conversing with someone who's trapped in the dialogue tree of a conventional journalist because it's like talking to a computer.
Embarrassing. This man is a child.
Oof.
She's not the NPC repeating dialogue tree talking points, Elon. You are.
That's rough, man. That's rough.
The reason why she had to ask you the same question again and again and again and clarify repeatedly for you is either because you're too fucking stupid to comprehend the question she was asking you, or because you were pretending to not know what she was asking you so you didn't have to address the substance because it was too embarrassing for you. But I mean, this petulant behavior, it kind of proves my point and demonstrates why everybody hates him. And on a second note, this motherfucker has the audacity to call South African equity laws racist when he benefited from the apartheid system that oppresses black South Africans to this day. And needless to say, I think that he did okay despite growing up in a country that was racist against him for being white. Like, the audacity of him to say these things in public is just astounding to me. But again, he has no self-awareness. But the good news is that he's apparently going to step into the background, so we won't have to see his big, dumb fucking face as much, which I guess kind of proves that bullying works, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, bullying is bad, sure, but I think that society should allow itself to make some exceptions once in a while for people who are truly beyond the pale. And I think that Elon Musk, you know, he fits that. But I don't think that it's enough for him to just be able to fade into obscurity, assuming he actually does do that, which I'm skeptical of, because again, this is the biggest attention whore in the world. So the prospect of people not paying attention to him is probably agonizing to him. But assuming he actually does fade into obscurity, which would be wonderful, we can't forget that this man committed actual crimes. He used Doge to illegally access our sensitive data. He illegally gutted government agencies that were regulating his companies. That's fraud. That's corruption. He illegally cut off aid that's already killed people, and there's blood on his hands because of that. So there needs to be actual accountability. This man needs to be charged, tried, and either imprisoned or deported or both. See, you don't get to break laws with impunity because you led some made-up government agency and then just go away. It doesn't work that way. At least it shouldn't work that way. So
yeah, but these times are different. You know what I mean? Like, out of the blue, one day we're playing Elden Ring, and the next he's screaming about martial law and trans people busting in his house with guns to take him to a camp. Haven't spoken since. What? Wow. Perhaps something snapped, not a physical thing. Never know what someone's story is. Yeah, to be so, like, 180, that's wild. I ended up learning about Chesterton's fence from Doge and then got to see them being knocked down left and right for the last 4 months. Although I think truthfully, a lot of it was intentionally tearing down the framework of democracy. Yep.
If we ever have free and fair elections again and a Democrat takes back the White House, they better make his criminality a priority on day one. Because if you don't hold him accountable for his crimes, other billionaires are going to think it's okay for them to do what he did. And since he's already despised, I don't even think that Republicans would care that much if Democrats made an example out of this asshole. So regardless if he fucks off or not, Democrats better not forget about this man's crimes.
Were you acting like a...
Yep. Why are journalists always asking me the same stupid questions? Why are you a Nazi? Why are you ripping off the government like a broken record? I'm glad that I'm smarter than everyone. I mean, the old school rich dudes got away with it too, but because they did stuff sneaky and quiet and politicians didn't want to lose their paychecks. Yep. The real Chesterton's fence is the one between them and the anger of the people. So, hey, this is real quick. I don't have time to go over this one. The Supreme Court has knocked down... Come back. Where is it? Has knocked down the taxpayer-funded charter school. Remember we talked about this story a minute ago, a while ago? Well, the Supreme Court has blocked the bid led by two Catholic dioceses to establish in Oklahoma the nation's first taxpayer-funded religious charter school in a major case involving religious rights and American education. So yeah, I mean that happened. So yay. That's good. I just didn't expect the Supreme Court to vote that way, but okay. Trump administration bars Harvard from enrolling international students because, you know, the Trump administration loves free speech and education. The administration on Thursday revoked Harvard's university ability to enroll international students, making a sharp escalation in the battle over the Ivy League school's autonomy in the face of the administration's demands. Harvard can no longer enroll foreign students, and existing foreign students must transfer or lose their legal status. Cool, very normal stuff. Homeland Security, Kristi Noem ordered her department to terminate Harvard's student exchange visitor program certification, citing the university's refusal to turn over a conduct record of foreign students requested by the DHS last month. Noem, in a letter to Harvard on Tuesday, also accused the university of perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students, promotes pro-Hamas sympathies, sure, and employs racist diversity, equity, and inclusion practices. Yeah, sure. I love me some Jesus, but if the church don't pay taxes, they don't need tax money. That's surprising from SCOTUS, but yeah, we'll take it. Yep. Let this serve as a warning to all universities that if you don't do what we say, yeah, we'll come after you. Look at that. There's no ads. Loves him some Amy now. Harvard has become ground zero for the Trump administration's clash with elite universities as it U.S. universities as it seeks to influence some campus programming policies, hiring, and admissions by threatening to cut off federal benefits. Trump officials say they're trying to banish anti-Semitism. Sure. Following contentious campus protests over the Israel-Hamas genocide and rooted out DEI practices they decry as illegal, and immoral discrimination. So yeah, they're threatening Harvard. In many ways. And now they're just barring people from attending college internationally. Doesn't matter. Pretty dystopic stuff, folks. Pretty dystopic stuff. All right, folks, I gotta get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you all for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Thank you, Heat, and thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday at around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to support the channel, make sure you do the things. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us here if you're on Twitch. This would solve crazy people from threatening teachers at school board meetings. Yep. This is illegal. Yes. This is stupid, but stupidity is what I expect from number 47. Yep. Thank you all. I didn't... Oh, the Pokemon beanie. I didn't realize. Yeah, it's a Pokemon beanie. It's Charmander. Charmander. Thanks for the stream, even though I was late. No problem. There's always next stream, you know. We'll be back on Monday. No worries. Thank you, Tina Group. Yes. Oh, and thank you. Thank you, Tina, for rating. I appreciate that. Go follow Tina_2. Appreciate that. We gotta get out of here, folks. Peace out. Come chill in the Discord. Yes. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the Substack merch store, !tip. Join the Discord to keep up with the channel. No surfs today. Lance will stream tomorrow. Looney Tunes, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Monep. Nina _poop. Alright, folks. I gotta get out of here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one around Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya! There you go. Go watch the YouTubes to catch up. That's right. All right, folks. Hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.